I wish to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, the Gumbungia people, and pay my respects to elders past and present. I'm not sure if the Mayor's here, but to hosting Mayor Nikki Williams, but also to those who have organised this conference, a particular shout out to Local Government New South Wales and the Australian Association of Environmental Educators. I want to acknowledge the huge amount of experience, knowledge, work and ingenuity that we have in the room today. For those who I've had the privilege to meet personally, you know that waste and recycling and circular economy, and I know Costa's there, composting, is a genuine passion of mine. I just firmly believe that we should not be wasting one element of things that can be reused and recycled. What a crazy way to set up your society, to just throw things at the end and not care about them, and they hang around, taking up space, destroying the planet and creating emissions that we don't need. We can actually totally do it. And I wanted to just say I just had such a great time very quickly walking through the stalls here. It's like the Easter show for waste. With very sustainable show bags. I love that. It's really fantastic. But I just really want to acknowledge the policy expertise and the many people in this room who have talked to me over a period of time about A, how important this is, but B, also what the opportunities are, because it's not just a problem to be solved, it's an opportunity for all of us that I think if we seize it, we'll be very, very happy that we did. Look, today I just want to talk to you about the New South Wales waste challenges. We can't hide from them, we've got to actually deal with them. But I also want to talk to you about the action that's underway from the government. As you no doubt have heard many times, and you will hear it many times, New South Wales is on the precipice of a waste crisis. While waste volumes continue to grow, recycling rates have flatlined to an average of around 66%. This falls well short of our own targets of 80% average recycling across all waste streams by 2030. We've only got 5 years to turn this around. If we don't find a way to increase the amount of material we reuse or recycle, the volume of waste being disposed of at landfill will only grow. This is not sustainable. We know this because Greater Sydney is on track to run out of landfill space by 2030. We have crunched the numbers. And I also know that many regional areas are facing landfill and recycling issues. We're not naive to these issues either. If we do not take action to avoid this shortfall in landfill capacity, more waste will be forced out of Greater Sydney and into regional areas, disrupting essential waste collection and disposal services. And more waste will also be diverted interstate, which I know is already happening in several areas. This is not desirable or sustainable. Failure to act on waste is expected to result in a 20% increase in the amount households pay for their red lid curbside bin collections when they're already facing significant cost of living pressures. It will also delay the delivery of critical infrastructure projects, including new homes, when we are already dealing with a shortage of housing needed to provide for our growing populations. Left unaddressed, a shortfall in Greater Sydney's landfill capacity may lead to a significant loss to the New South Wales economy, not to mention the increased risks of unsafe stockpiling of waste and illegal dumping that arise when people lose access to safe waste disposal options. This issue cannot be kicked down the road any longer. The Minns government and me as the Minister have just decided that this is something that we just have to address, and we have to do a lot of things at the same time, and we have to do it before it's too late. I remind you all again, we've really got 5 years to turn this around. But importantly, I want to say to you today that we cannot do this alone. I want to talk to you about how we overcome the critical challenges facing waste management, and we have to do it with all of you. Sending waste to landfill should only be done when all other options to avoid, reuse, recycle and otherwise recover value from waste materials have been exhausted. But the reality is that we know that there's a lot of stuff going to landfill now that really doesn't need to be. We need to find ways to make sure that we recover all of it. It's very valuable and it's very recoverable. In responding to the waste crisis that is fast approaching New South Wales, the New South Wales Government's highest priority is to keep more material out of landfill and to use it for longer. There are a lot of opportunities here. We want to drive infrastructure planning and investment and create jobs. This is another crucial cog that we need to drive our plans forward. New South Wales has never before had a waste infrastructure plan. I was quite shocked to learn this. I'm sure many of you know this, but it was genuinely surprising to me. We've never done the crucial planning that we need to do. Waste is an essential service and it should be planned for as such. I have heard your concerns about this issue loud and clear. Many of you have raised these issues directly with me about your frustrations around infrastructure planning. The first chapter of the Waste Infrastructure Plan outlines our whole-of-government approach to ensuring New South Wales has the right infrastructure in place to safely manage the waste we don't recycle and avoid Greater Sydney's imminent shortfalls in landfill capacity. And we also want to collect and process increased volumes of organic waste, such as FOGO, and where that is rolled out. That is, again, part of what's in the plan. Firstly, we want to reduce the pain points in our planning system that are acting as a barrier to investment in critical waste infrastructure. We've heard clearly that investment is often deterred by long and complex planning processes which create high costs and investment risks. We want to fix this. I do not for a minute underestimate the challenges of getting waste infrastructure built in communities. No one is saying, please, can I have a waste facility near me? And we have to be really sensitive and careful about that, but we need to have those conversations to say this is essential, this is not a nice to have. The first chapter of the New South Wales Waste Infrastructure Plan discusses ways to streamline the planning process, to give certainty to waste operators, to extend the lifespan of existing landfills, or where necessary, expand them. Where doing so will delay the imminent shortages across Greater Sydney. Secondly, we are currently consulting on the ways to drive investment and certainty for energy from waste facilities. This is about reducing reliance on landfill and building the resilience of our waste management network while ensuring strong protections for human health and the environment. And these must be guaranteed. This piece of work sits alongside consideration of the need to increase reuse and recycling at the same time. I know that there are strong views around energy from waste in the community. I know that councils have strong views, some are in favour and some are against. We need strong guidelines and frameworks, and we need environmental and community protections. The New South Wales Government is currently finalising our ongoing review of the energy from waste policy framework, and that will be completed before the end of this financial year. Lastly, the New South Wales Waste Infrastructure Plan sets out actions to strengthen the way we strategically plan for waste and recycling infrastructure, ensuring that the needs of our growing populations are met into the future. I want to be clear that this is part one, chapter one. We are also working on part two, which will address recycling and circular economy infrastructure. The New South Wales Government recognises the importance of waste infrastructure planning to ensure that all households and businesses can access affordable and reliable waste services. And again, we need to do this together. I've asked the EPA to establish a Ministerial Advisory Committee for Strategic Waste Infrastructure Planning. It will be made up of representatives from local councils, the waste and resource recovery sector and the community to advise the government on the implementation of the plan. All of us need to have skin in the game and all of us need to be able to work through these issues. The release of this chapter of the New South Wales Waste Infrastructure Plan is an important milestone. It is importantly a draft. We want all of your feedback. I want to thank the representatives of the waste and resource recovery sector and local government who shared their experiences, insights and expertise to support its development. Your input has been essential to identifying where and how the New South Wales Government could act to better enable investment, planning and development of critical waste infrastructure. But it is just a draft and there's a lot of work to actually make it a reality. The next chapters of the Waste Infrastructure Plan will be completed as soon as we can. And as I said, these chapters will focus on the unique management challenges facing regional and remote areas of New South Wales, but also how do we increase the investment in reuse and recycling infrastructure across the state. I want New South Wales to be a world leader in genuinely having a circular economy. This work is another important step along that path. There's so many things I could talk about, and I'm not going to talk for too long because I know you actually want to ask me some questions as well, but there are a few things that I just wanted to flag that I know that everyone else in this room is interested in. The first is the New South Wales Waste Levy Review. As you know, the effectiveness of the waste levy has diminished over time. To explore how the waste levy can be reinvigorated to further increase recycling in New South Wales, the New South Wales Government's released our Waste Levy Review Issues paper for consultation last year. And I I want to know that thank you everyone for making your submissions. In local government, I hear you, you need more money. I know that councils are crying out for support in dealing with the waste challenges at local level. I also know that many councils have said they don't think the levy is being applied fairly or transparently. You've asked for support in community education and for local initiatives and investment, and I agree with this as well. The government has not landed on a final decision yet. The waste levy is complex, but I can give you this certainty: we will not raise the levy beyond CPI for this coming financial year. I know that industry and councils need time to adjust if there's changes to the levy. There will not be any overnight surprises. We'll continue to work with you as government comes to a landing on this. When we do make a decision, we will provide all of the information that you need and give you full access to discuss how it can be implemented. Just briefly, I also want to talk about FOGO mandates. As you know, we passed our FOGO mandates legislation earlier this year. Already 70 councils, or 55% of the councils of New South Wales, have implemented or are planning to implement a FOGO service. Many of the councils here have transitioned, and I thank every council who is sharing their experience, knowledge and lessons with their colleagues. We all learn a bit as each of us roll it out. Each year in New South Wales, 1.7 million tonnes of food and garden organic waste is generated by households and businesses. This should be recycled and not sent to landfill. As, again, most people in this room know, it's about a third of the red bin. I encourage all councils to access the funding that is available through the EPA. We're putting $81 million to ensure these mandates are successfully implemented. This also includes statewide education campaign on behavioural change and dealing with that issue that dogs us all, contamination of the bins. We just need more community education so people know where to put their waste in the bins. I'd be happy to do that. It'll stop me fighting with my children. But I hope that industry is also glad about this, and we'll have ongoing input from you around this. To support the councils to implement new FOGO collection services, the New South Wales Government is also providing $50 million in the Go FOGO grant to funds the basic stuff: the bins, the kitchen caddies and lighters, the contamination audits, the community education programs. Let's talk about batteries. I think you were talking about batteries yesterday. Look, we just have to address this issue. We cannot ignore it anymore. The incorrect disposal of batteries continues to pose an unacceptable risk to waste workers, collection vehicles and processing facilities. It's estimated there are between 10 and 12,000 battery-related fires in waste facilities and waste trucks every year. We're lucky that there hasn't been more tragic events than there has. The threat is also increasing. I've been talking a lot to Fire and Rescue New South Wales, and they of course are reporting that batteries are the fastest growing fire risk in New South Wales, with 324 incidents in 2024, including 33 injuries and 1,125 evacuations. This is up from 171 incidents in 2022. It's a growing problem. That's also why, and I'm very proud of this, that we introduced and passed the Product Life Cycle Responsibility Act. Mike indicated about it before. This Act gives the New South Wales Government the ability to mandate product stewardship for any product, and batteries will be the first cab off the rank given the need to act urgently on fires. The Product Lifestyle Responsibility Act, that's a mouthful. Product Life Cycle Responsibility Act has been prepared as a standalone act to allow other jurisdictions to quickly adopt a similar legislative framework for mandatory product stewardship. I'll be nudging the new minister towards this pretty quickly. We are continuing to work closely with other state and territory governments to enable greater harmonisation across jurisdictions. The New South Wales Government is also preparing a statewide battery disposal campaign to promote the message that batteries should never be put in the bin and educate the public on where they can take them for recycling instead. We're putting money into this to assist councils and waste groups to promote these messages. We're also doing a 2-year trial on the collection of embedded batteries through 21 community recycling centres. To date, 4 tonnes of products containing embedded batteries have already been safely disposed of. I don't think I really want to know how many 4 tonnes is excellent. I'm sure that it's many, many more that are still finding their way into your trucks and into your facilities. I haven't even had a chance to talk about container deposit or plastics. We're also taking action on that. We're also doing reuse and repair strategy as well. My view about this is a little bit like the energy transition. The window for action is closing. We have to be doing everything on every different level at the same time. Not ideal, but absolutely necessary, and that's the approach that New South Wales has taken. This is urgent. It does matter what happens to our waste. But as I said at the beginning, it's also, I think, an opportunity for to really surf the community desire to actually not waste anything. When you actually talk to communities, they don't want to see waste, but we need to help them to be able to deal with it in a way that works well. And for those in the community that are not that interested in it, that's fine. If we build the system, it kind of works itself out most of the way as well. So I think that, I really want to harness the general community desire to do best by the environment and actually just have an easy way. I don't want people to have to think about it. I just want them to be able to sort their waste, for it to be taken, for it to be recycled, and for us to use it. I mean, ideally, I'd also, of course, like us just to be reducing waste in the first place. And that's a bigger project, but it's an ongoing project and one that I'm looking forward to bothering Murray Watt about pretty soon. I just want to thank finally, in relation to this, just a shout out to the EPA and the team at the EPA. They're a small team. I've been pretty bossy about saying we need to do all of these things at the same time, and they've really risen to the challenge and really done the work. And I really just want to thank them for their efforts in this area. Tony and Asala and his team, really, we're asking them to do a lot in a very short period of time, and they haven't missed a beat, and I just really want to thank you. Finally, I just want to thank you again. I'm serious about the partnerships that we need to make this work. I can't sit there on Macquarie Street and just make it so. We need to get into the detail of how it operates at a local level, really down to households, down to businesses, how do councils collect, what are we doing in terms of various industry players. All of you in resource and recovery have been so generous with your time with me to explain some of that. That's really what I'm looking to do. So we're making good progress. We've got 5 years to fix it, and I look forward to actually getting into the nitty-gritty with all of you as we make it happen. Thanks for having me.